I think we all needed that song this morning. Thank you, South Church folk. Good morning. I am Kirsten Hunter. I am the director of Lifespan Ministries here at South Church. I serve here in co-leadership with Reverend Ellen Quadgrass, and I serve in co-ministry with all of you. Welcome. Welcome to those of you who are joining us online this morning and to everyone who is here in person on this Memorial Day weekend. We are so glad you are here. I have been reminded many times this week how special this congregation is. You all keep showing up for one another in life-giving ways, and it is something to behold. This is a place where people offer each other care, engage in deep learning together, celebrate differences as well as samenesses, speak truth, fight for justice and equity, and maybe most remarkably, this is a place where people practice centering love in all that they do. There is no place I would rather be this morning. I am deeply grateful for all the ways so many of you choose to live your faith in the world. As part of our welcoming words each Sunday, we acknowledge that the land where we gather today is land stolen centuries ago from indigenous people, including the Abenaki and Pennacook people. Along with this acknowledgement, may we remain committed to take actions to repair harm and damaged relationships with indigenous people here in New England and across the globe, as well as with the land herself. We have work to do. I encourage you to take a look at your order of service for details about today's worship and everything that's happening in this community. It is a busy place. Leading worship with me today is worship associate Anna Howard. Our music is beautifully offered by South Church folk with the support of Johnny Pfeiffer, our director of music ministry. The fabulous Tim DeLay is holding down the tech fort, and he is on the live chat if you are joining us in live time and have anything you need to let him know, including just a hello, say hi to Tim. He'll say hi back, and he's speaking for all of us. There are coloring supplies and activity packs in the back of the room for anyone that wants something to do with your hands to keep busy during this worship service. Children can choose to join RE programming downstairs following the Time for All Ages. I think a lot of them are already out and playing, but we have a few here today. There's a nursery open throughout the service for those 3, 4, and under, and we celebrate the wiggles and noises of multi-generational community here in the sanctuary, should anyone choose to stay with their family together upstairs for the whole service. After service, everyone of every age is invited to gather in the fellowship hall for coffee and treats and conversation. We have assisted listening devices in the back of the sanctuary should you need them. The ushers can help you, as well as large print hymnals. Please take a moment to silence your cell phones. And just a couple highlights from the announcements. One is one of the members of we have a program at South Church where we open our showers downstairs on Thursdays for members of the community who are unhoused to come and shower. That program started last September, and it is doing really well. And we're looking for some more volunteers. So Liz is here somewhere. Wave your hand. Liz will be downstairs. If you have time on Thursday mornings, or even Thursday early afternoons, and would be interested in going through the training to be a shower program volunteer, we would love to hear from you. You can find Liz at the social hour. We also will have a pocket garden tour table downstairs. Rob and Schnell will be occupying that table. We still need folks to sit in our pocket garden tour, pocket gardens for the tour, which is happening on June 13th, 14th. The pocket garden tour is a huge fundraiser for our church, but it's also an incredible opportunity to connect with community, not just our South Church community, but our wider community. It is a day of joyful interacting. If you need a burst of joy in your heart, get on that list. Be a garden sitter. It nourishes your soul as well as helping our church. And there is a concert coming up. Kafari will be here on June 8th. That's correct. And I really encourage you to mark your schedules. I believe he's here from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There's a donation of $20. You can buy tickets in advance. I keep looking at Johnny to make sure I'm remembering. And Johnny's going to be sharing out in our newsletter this week an interview that he did with Kafari that's worth listening to as well. It'll get you going and excited for that incredible music that's coming our way. Other announcements are here. Make sure you read them all. Welcome, and we can begin.
As we light the chalice, we share these words by bell hooks. Rarely, if ever, any of us are healed in isolation. Healing is an act of communion. Now please rise and join us in reciting our mission statement that is printed in your order of service. At South Church, we nurture spiritual growth through worship, learning, and community. We celebrate the worth and dignity of all people, and we inspire one another to act on our faith in the larger community. There is a box in the back of my closet labeled USSR. It's not a political statement, it's just where I keep my childhood. School pictures, little trinkets, mementos, a couple of favorite cassette tapes that I have from growing up in the Soviet Union. The other day, I opened it up and found something that made me laugh out loud. It's a large pin I used to wear as a proud 20-year-old university student. It said in Russian, "Don't teach me how to live." It was my tiny badge of rebellion, my declaration of independence. I remember one time on a crowded Moscow subway on my way to the university, the same commute I made for an hour and a half each way for 4 years, a man in his 40s, ancient, I thought, noticed the pin, approached me and said, "You know, I'd love a pin that says, 'Teach me how to live.'" I rolled my eyes. At 40? Surely by then you've figured it all out. Well, here I am, well past my 40, even past my 50, and I get it now. I do need a manual. I found some along the way. I usually turn to books to help me in different phases of my life. When I was expecting my first and my second child, I had What to Expect When Expecting by Heidi Murkoff. I'm sure you've seen it. When I was navigating the stormy waters of adolescence with my daughter, I found a book that helped: How to Talk So the Kids Will Listen, and How to Listen So the Kids Will Talk by Adele Faber and Elaine Maslish. Even recently, when my father passed away and I felt very lost, a book titled Resilient Grieving by Lucy Hone offered me comfort and guidance. Yet not everything comes with a manual. There are still parts of life, like aging, shifting societal norms, like fighting for justice when it seems close to impossible, like finding joy in your footing in this aching world. It just doesn't come with a handbook. Even if we might be seasoned and feeling wise in one area, we are still novices in some others. And that's where the community is essential. We are all figuring it out, how to live with integrity, compassion, and courage, doing it together. Here in the space, we bring our lived experiences, our questions, our hard-earned wisdom. We hold space for one another. Sometimes we are the ones offering guidance, and sometimes we are the ones, please teach me how to live. Whether you come today with answers or questions, whether you feel wise or like me, work in process, you're welcome here. Let's learn how to live together. Now, please rise as you're able and join me in singing hymn 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
We have a very special time for all ages today. It is part time for all ages, part prep for the future. The Black Heritage Trail of New Hampshire's newsletter this month shared plans for Juneteenth celebrations coming up in a couple weeks. The executive director, Jerry Ann Bogus, sent out a beautiful invitation for folks to come and dance during those festivities, specifically to dance Boots on the Ground, which perhaps you've encountered has been kind of a dance sensation out in the world lately, partly because of a very popular TikTok dance challenge, but also because the song and the dance hold a very relatable message: the need for community and resilience in a time of uncertainty. I'm going to invite some folks forward who are going to help lead us in experiencing this dance today. They will also be downstairs after service this week and for the next 3 weeks leading up to Juneteenth to help all of us learn how to do the boots on the ground dance. If you are someone who's brave and doesn't mind looking a little silly, you are also welcome to come up and dance with these folks. Anyone can. I'm going to step down and make a bit of a fool of myself with them. But before I do, I want to share just a snippet from the email message from Jerry Ann Bogus, the executive director at Black Heritage Trail. This is what she wrote in her message. She said, "This past week while visiting my family, my sisters challenged us to learn the viral dance, Boots on the Ground, saying we just needed to dance through the chaos that is America right now. She says, as I stumbled through the steps, I couldn't help but think of author Jamaica Kincaid's 1997 interview in Mother Jones, in which she said, I wish all African Americans would cease to sing and dance, just for a generation. I think we provide too much entertainment. What Kincaid did not say, however, was that Black people were never dancing for white audiences. In times of chaos, Black people have always turned to moving as a form of survival and resistance. From the ring shout of enslaved Africans to the electric slide of the civil rights movement, and now to the boots on the ground dance. Movement has been both an act of joy and a declaration of existence and resistance. For me, she says, this dance movement is not just a trend, but a continuation of an ancient tradition, a way to stomp out fear, sing through struggle, and move forward even when the world tries to hold us back. More than a dance, it is a call for action and solidarity. We need boots on the ground, people willing to do the work, build community, push change forward, just as our ancestors moved in rhythm to survive. We must move in unison to heal and transform our communities today. Amen to that. She also said in her newsletter she wants our whole community to join in this dance, that it is a dance of solidarity, and she hopes we will all be there. So we're doing what we can. We're going to dance. Unfortunately for folks at home, we're going to have to mute the audio of the music because we don't have copyright permission to stream it through the service. But Tim will put a link in the chat box so you can access a video of the music and dance yourself. And you can watch us in sort of silent movie style for this portion of the service. Here we go. After social hour, join them. You can learn too. It's a little harder than you'd think. And our young ones can head down to classes if you'd like, down to RE.
Workout for the day, done. It is time for the Offertory. During the month of May, our collection will be shared with the National Alliance of Mental Health of New Hampshire, NAMI. NAMI is a grassroots organization working to improve the quality of life for all by providing support, education, advocacy for people affected by mental illness and suicide. The offering will now be gratefully received.
As we enter into a time of meditation and prayer, I want to take a moment to name that many of us are carrying heavy burdens right now. It is hard to be living in these times. It is a time of heightened fears and seemingly continuous calls to action. It's a time where people are unexpectedly losing jobs or juggling more demands with less support. It's a time where it's very easy to give in to fear and scarcity thinking. We talk about being a community who can share the weight of each other's burdens, and I believe that we are. And many of us are still learning how to lean on one another. Many of us struggle to prioritize our own care. So right now, and for the foreseeable future, please be aware that airplane safety guidelines are in effect. You put on your own oxygen mask first. That's not selfish. That's how we do this. That's how we survive together. None of us are any help to one another if we're not taking care of ourselves. None of us are expected to respond to every call to action. We are all here to share the load. And all of us have different roles to play in this moment. And the next one. And the one after that. And if you are struggling, please reach out to me or to Reverend Ellen or to a pastoral associate or to a beloved in this congregation who you know can listen. You are not alone, and seeking support is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. Tomorrow is Memorial Day. Memorial Day was established after the devastating violence of the Civil War, during which more than 600,000 people in the United States were killed. It was the war that had the single greatest number of U.S. casualties ever for our country. And it was a war undeniably tied to our history of enslavement here in the United States as well, so that the immediate loss of the Civil War was then and is still compounded by the centuries-long genocidal violence of enslavement. When I consider this, when I think about the harm and the need for healing that our country was experiencing in the years after the Civil War, I am moved by the responsive ministry behind the establishment of Memorial Day, a commitment to every person whose life was lost to that violent war and to the wars that have happened since, and a commitment also to work to stop the hatred from which it grew. Every parent who buried a child, everyone who lost a beloved, is held in this Memorial Day. I am grateful for it. I think often that more of us could, maybe should, be more intentional about the ways we mark this annual day of mourning. For anyone who has lost a family member to war, tomorrow is a sacred and often complicated day of remembering. And I pray that they feel held in the arms of community. When we show up for one another in moments of complicated grief, in moments of accountability and witness, we build trust and connection that becomes a sustaining force. May we all hold such invitations with sober care. Today and every day, may we pray for a peaceful tomorrow, an end to the violence of war that continues to be enacted across our planet, an end to supremacy and hate, an awakening to the precious miracle of life, to the inherent worth and dignity of all people, our interconnectedness, and the resilient strength that grows as humankind evolves toward a new way of being. May it be so. You are welcome to stay in your pew and hold this time as a time for meditation. You are also invited to come forward if you'd like to light a prayer candle. 15 minutes outside of Oakland, California, up in the winding hills of the Canyon neighborhood, is a place called Reinhardt Redwoods Regional Park. When I was out in Oakland visiting friends this past April, my partner and I visited this forest reserve for a day hike. In the car on our way there, we started to wonder, who's Reinhardt? So I read aloud from a website that the park was actually named after Dr. Amelia Reinhardt, who we learned was a professor, an environmentalist, a minister, and a peace activist, among other distinguished titles. She was a founding board member of the East Bay Regional Park District from 1934 to 1945. An unusually influential role for a woman to hold at that time, and during her tenure, she saw the establishment of the Alameda District's first 4 parks, one of which was Redwoods. Redwoods Regional Park is the largest remaining natural grove of coast redwoods, Sequoia sempervirens, in the East Bay. And it was just named as an old-growth forest in 2023, joining more than 190 other protected forests across the United States as part of the old-growth forest network. Redwoods Park has 700 acres of mature second and third growth redwoods. The original trees in the park were logged between 1845 and 1860, with loggers leaving only their stumps. A second logging occurred after the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, when the second growth redwoods were about 50 years old. Loggers at that time also harvested the stumps that were left from the original giants. When a redwood falls, a distinctive ring pattern of new redwoods grow up around the stump. As we walked through the beautiful forest, from time to time we came upon the footprints of the old giants. The original old growth, their existence evident from the empty space they left behind. We also found places where the second growth seemed to be holding little patches of memory on the forest floor. Healthy, established forests are powerful places in which to spend time wandering. We marveled at each other while we were there as we felt a discernible shift in our bodies sinking down into those redwoods. The air felt more nourishing, our breath deeper. Maybe you've had that feeling walking in a forest. It was a little bit sad to be in a place where the ghosts of ancient forests loom, but I also felt something else that I didn't expect as I considered the fact that this magnificent grove of redwoods was, again, aging, that it had earned its own old growth status. The trees around me, though certainly smaller than their grandparents, were themselves strong and tall and magnificent in their own right. And they were born from their parents and grandparents, rooted in the same soil. They were alive and filled with that same ancient wisdom. All was not lost. It is empowering to remember that old growth can re-emerge and is always becoming. It can weather catastrophic violence and survive. It is changed, certainly, but standing among those redwoods, I was conscious of the so many molecules of the elders that were surely coursing through the wood of those majestic trees, swaying in California fog, drinking damp air. As I consider Jerry Ann Bogus's call to action, we must move in unison to heal and transform our communities. I imagine old growth. I imagine that quality of balance, a steady ability to respond to what comes, to nourish ourselves and to nourish one another, the capacity to grow back even after devastating violence. Old growth is strong. It invites biodiversity. It welcomes it. It plays and changes with the evolving array of life forms that develop within it and come to it. It fosters the practice of reciprocity. It is responsive and resilient, interconnected in ways we have barely begun to understand. Jerry Ann is right. Community makes us strong. It will carry us through these difficult days, and our communities need healing. I also believe that so much of the wisdom we need in order to return to the world we dream about, somewhere over the rainbow, is here already. That wisdom is here in the soil, in the remains of old growth, wherever there are traces of it, in places that have not been completely destroyed, in our hearts, in the love we practice, in the stories and the dances and the traditions we carry forward through generations, in every moment when we realize our interconnections to each other and to the earth herself, in the way we return to one another again and again, no matter how many times evil forces try to separate and exploit us. And by us, I mean all of us. I do not think that Unitarian Universalism is the answer, but I very much believe if we keep practicing together that this faith can be a vibrant part of the call to heal and transform our communities. That is why I am here. There is a brilliant religious educator named Natalie Briscoe who developed a model of the dimensions of faith, of developing faith communities specific to Unitarian Universalism, but it certainly has wider application. Her research helps articulate the work of healing and transforming communities, and I find it really helpful. So I'm going to offer us a little bit of that map that Anna spoke of, a little bit of that idea of here's how we are doing it and we can do it. Before anything else, Natalie Briscoe says, dimension 0 of building a community is trust. The nutrients in the soil, if you will. You need trust there before anything else can happen. There's an old joke that UUs are really bad at singing hymns. The joke goes, why are UUs so bad at singing hymns? And the punchline of the joke is because they're always reading ahead to make sure they agree with the words. That's trust. You need to trust I'm in the right place. This place is reflecting my values. This place sees me. This place knows who I am. We can't do anything until we feel that. I don't think we're that bad at singing hymns, by the way. So using a metaphor of striving to become old growth, when a new person steps over the threshold here, the first thing they need to experience is trust. And no matter how long we have been here, we always need to be in a continual discernment about the presence of trust. Is trust here? Is it hurt? Has it been harmed? How do we heal it? It's the most fundamental core beginning of any other work we might do. Trust can begin with a welcome, with words that allow someone to feel seen, remembering someone's name the week after you met them, remembering something they told you. Trust comes, says Briscoe, through extravagant hospitality. And once we have trust, our soil is ready. The first dimension of developing a faith community, the seed to sprout, perhaps, of the redwood tree, is building narrative. Community begins with opportunities for each of us to tell our own story, to express our identity, that feeling seen and that opportunity then to be vulnerable enough to share a little bit about who we are. Within our South Church community, you might think of a child dedication as an example of this, or the experience of joining a covenant group where deep listening is happening and you are making connections with people. It's a process of self-differentiation. Every time we check in at the start of a meeting or at the start of a program, we are returning to that first dimension of speaking our own truth of who we are in that moment. And then, once this is established, once we feel seen and have that chance to say who we are, we move into the second stage, our sprout turning to a sapling tree. In the second dimension of community building, we are invited to a broader curiosity, beyond me to we. Who are you? What's your story? What are we doing here? This begins with wonder about one another. This dimension can be fostered through opportunities to play. I think of our annual holiday pageant, of coffee houses and potlucks, of music-making groups and camping trips and hikes in the woods, but this can also happen at rallies where you get a coffee with someone, or at a discussion group, or any number of activities. Bonds begin to form and trust grows. The third dimension is building community. The young forest with established trees. If you witnessed the coming of age service last week, that was a container that holds this dimension so expertly, an old growth container where that community phase of development emerges with such power. And Ingrid and I have been talking about a Coming of Elders program where we might do that with our more mature members of the congregation as well. How do we realize our role at our stage in life within a community? This is a stage that can feel very good. As people begin to participate in creating ministries we all share here, recognizing themselves as belonging to this co-creation, in this community stage we feel empowered, energized. And those feelings are important because often the next stage is hard. The fourth dimension, Natalie Briscoe describes, she calls deconstructing or unbuilding. This doesn't happen to all of us, but it is very common and a hard but important part of community building. I think of the phrase, the honeymoon is over. Many of us who have chosen marriage or long-term partnership might recognize that period of time when all of a sudden everything doesn't quite seem so shiny. You realize that your partner doesn't always clean up the ring from their toothbrush or whatever it is. Deconstructing, unbuilding, can be incredibly valuable work, but it is often a time of exit for many of us. That's partly because of the culture we live in. We've been taught to be avoidant of conflict. We've been taught to focus on our own needs, and when we come up against something, this isn't meeting what I want, it's easy to walk out the door. But when we choose to walk out the door, we miss something. It's not a terrible choice. Sometimes it's the right choice, but it's a choice. And if you choose to stay, if you choose to work through it, there is a bounty on the other side. The deconstructing stage is a reason why here at South Church we have a covenant of right relations. I'm finding my place. Sorry about that. It is a tool for moments of unbuilding because we recognize that clear boundaries and care are required in order to find ourselves through those deconstructing moments. They are a natural part of community, but they are not easy. So, when they happen, we help one another through them by sitting with the discomfort. We help by resisting our attraction to urgent response, reactivity. We help by practicing direct communication with one another, listening deeply with curiosity, holding the situation loosely with love. And when we do so, we expand our capacity for struggle. We become wiser, we add rings to our trees, and wisdom in that process. And then things really start to get interesting. In the fifth dimension of this building faith community, we keep adding those growth rings, year by year, deepening our understanding of what it means to practice generosity, to commit to justice and equity. What does our interdependence call me toward? Where is transformation happening right now? And how do I need to adjust in order to realign with this new understanding we are discovering together? What does it mean to lead with love? The fifth dimension of faith is a time of discovering connections, of getting comfortable and curious about the contradictions of life, returning to familiar stories and finding new lessons in them, maybe stepping into teaching roles, joining the board of trustees, or becoming a worship associate. And slowly, we start to integrate our faith practice everywhere. In our personal relationships, in our workspaces, in how we rest and how we play. And slowly we start to arrive at the sixth dimension, the old growth, when a community's stories are lived, when we begin to incarnate our values. We are building beloved community. Here is the secret about all of this. This process is not linear. All of it is happening all of the time within each of us. Any one of us might be starting again a sapling in one area of our faith, whilst there is still old growth in other parts of who we are. Any program within our congregation can have aspects that are deep and mature and wise, and growing edges, emerging spaces that are brand new and quite vulnerable. This is true with our ministries, with ourselves, with our church as a whole, and with our relationships with the world beyond the walls of this place. And it is amazing. About 10 years ago, South Church hosted a concert here. It was supposed to be happening at Prescott Park, but thunderstorms had caused a change in plans, and the Wood Brothers came to South Church. I still am, a big fan of their music, and I was super excited when they got to the church that afternoon. I met them, I brought them tea, I told them how great I thought they were. As the lead vocalist came and stood here right on our chancel and opened his show, he looked around and he expressed thanks to this congregation for allowing them to perform in this sacred space. He asked the audience if they could feel all the Sunday gatherings, the weddings and memorials, the precious holy moments that seemed to him to be held in this atmosphere. He spoke right to my heart about South Church, and he had never been here before. As I was breathing, the air felt more nourishing in the wake of his words, my breath deeper. South Church has old growth, 200 years, in fact, in this very building, and more beyond, of growing roots in this place, of practicing our faith, of becoming. In a world where so many people have lost a deep connection to community, where so many people are isolated and lonely, it is no small thing that we keep practicing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep our doors open for every new person who chooses to walk through them. While we also honor the wise, tall trees in our midst. It is no small thing to be a part of this shared ministry in whatever way that is happening for you right now. It is no small thing that we have one another, boots on the ground and ready. Amen. I'm going to invite you to sing closing hymn number 145. The words are good. You don't have to read ahead.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with the world until we are together again.
That share with the world part I heard at an ordination 2 weeks ago, and I was like, ooh, yeah, carry in our hearts and share with the world. I like that. These are words from Mr. Rogers. He said, "When I say it's you I like, I'm talking about that part of you that knows that life is far more than anything you can ever see or hear or touch. That deep part of you that allows you to stand for those things without which humankind cannot survive. Love that conquers hate. Peace that rises triumphant over war. And justice that proves more powerful than greed. Go now in peace."